Hello everybody, my name is Ricardo Jurado. I'm a student from Tech Milenio Ciudad Juarez, and I'm here to talk to you about the Cold War for the exercise number 10 of Contemporary World. Without any interruption, let's begin. What is the Cold War? The Cold War was the name given to the relationship primarily between the USA and the USSR before World War I. The Cold War happened between 1945 and 1980, and it was basically the relationship between the Soviet Union and the USA. They didn't actually fought in like a hot war, which is an actual fight between two armies, but they actually fight using their beliefs with client states such as South Vietnam, who was an anti-communist, and North Vietnam, which was a pro-communist. Before continuing with this topic about the war, we need to define what is a communist and what is an anti-communist. In this case, an anti-communist can be defined as a capitalist. For example, the capitalism is a social and economic system where everyone in a society can be different. What does that mean? It means that every individual in this society can win a different amount of money and have a different social status. Basically, the exact opposite of the communism. In this system, you can have either a big, enormous, and perfect house of your dreams, or you can have a little, small, and inefficient house. In this system, what you give is what you receive. That means that if you work and have a really good job, you can get a lot of money, but if you don't work, you won't get any money and you will be poor. Countries such as the USA, Mexico, Spain, or the UK have this system, and personally I think is the best one. And that communism is basically an economic and social system that explains that every property and every, money belongs to everyone in the country. That means that it has no social classes and it has no individual citizens. In easy words, everything is from everyone. One of the main exposers from this theory is Karl Marx. He explained that the social classes will divide the society, so it is better than if there are no social classes to begin with, making everyone in the country equal, giving the same power to everyone, like a democracy, but in this case with no economic benefit. Some countries that still develops this type of theory are China, Cuba, North Korea, and Soviet Union, mostly known today as Russia. While USA uses the capitalism, the Soviet Union uses the communism. So they were always like a little conflict between the states that caused like a war without a fight. So that's why it's called the Cold War. With that said, I think it's time to pass to the interviews. Colleague Johnson. Okay, right now we're with the teacher Luis Morales, who has an age of 35 years old, and he's a history and teacher of history, correct?
Hi, today we are with the teacher Dimitra Guerra Hernandez, which is 23, is our teacher here in Tech Milenio, and we're gonna ask him some questions about the Cold War.
Good evening all. We're right here with our teacher called Alejandra Payan,
Yeah.
who has, how many years do you have?
27.
27 years, and she is, well, obviously my teacher from history last year, right? We're here to ask her about questions about the Cold War, right? So, can we read?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
The US and the USSR.
Okay. The U.S. and the USSR.
Mainly America right now and Russia.
Okay. American and Russia.
So to my knowledge, the countries involved in this issue were the United States and Russia, or the Soviet Union at that time.
Well, the countries were United States and the URSS is
Okay.
Because I think they wanted to part the world in two, communism and capitalism on each side. So mainly they wanted the whole world for themselves. So they had to be two main parties.
Okay, so I'm not sure about this, but I think that some of the relationship between Cuba and the U.S. became even tougher than what it used to. I would say that, what else? Okay, so the Soviet Union had, I think that it had more diplomatic struggles with the European Union at that time. I don't know, the European Union existed in 1941, so yeah, I think so.
Geography.
All around the world. Mainly Europe. You can take Germany for example. Germany was divided, one side for the Russians, one side for the Americans. You can take Cuba for the Russians, you can take Mexico for the Americans. Each party, each country took what they could.
well. The funny thing with the Cold War is that is not actually in the countries that begin that started the fight. So it was Vietnam, it was North Korea, and it was Afghanistan. It was part of the Cold War, and basically those three, the main countries were.
Well, I think people mainly lived in fear. Fear of World War III, a nuclear war, radioactive rain, nuclear war. That was the main one. Fear of nuclear war, fear of communism, fear of socialism in America, fear of capitalism in Russia.
Okay, so the Cold War has been interpreted, to my knowledge. These were the periods 40s to 91, to 50s or 91. And I remember there's 91 because that's the date before I was born. And it has always been a struggle between strong capitalism against communism. So how is it that these two political systems were against each other, and at least the loudest population, which is the U.S., have always pictured this not in terms of economic, although this was an economic struggle, but in terms of freedom. So they say that it's in terms of the free market economy and from a more closed system, a closed market system. So I think that the general public has an idea in terms of capitalism versus communism. Communism is bad, we don't want to deal with it. Everybody that is communist deserves to be kicked out of the US. Okay, so weapons is a very vague term because there can be military and economic. So the main, again, I remember history from high school. The main weapons used were economic weapons. So they were trying to put pressure in terms of social boundaries and try to cancel out treaties and
It's like what we have going on with North Korea right now, that there are international treaties being violated and there are economic ties being placed upon that country. So I think that in the Soviet Union there were some economic ties placed upon what is now Russia from some of the allies from the United States. And I think that the United Kingdom had a lot to do with it. England.
Well, this is very interesting because all the threat, because mostly was a threat, it was nuclear weapons. So everyone was with the fear, especially in the United States, with the fear that Russia in any minute will send the nuclear bombs. And the United States say, okay, you use nuclear weapons, so it's out. And that's the kind of weapons that they use to inspire fear to the people.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.